Here inside Quicken Loans Arena, it's a new week and a new result for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They win it tonight. The four-game losing streak has been snapped, 106-74 against the shorthanded Orlando Magic. Joe Vardon, Chris Fedor, Chris Haynes with you to recap this one. And Joe, from the very beginning, it was all about LeBron-James.
Yeah, I mean, it's been well documented. He's been saying lots of things. It was time to back it up for 4 quarters. And he only got a chance to do it for 3 because it was such a blowout that he sat comfortably in the 4th quarter. But he did, Chris. He came out tonight and he put actions to his words. He had been rightly calling out some things that were going wrong with the team, but at the same time he had been doing some of those same things, and all 3 of us have gone over this in one way or another, and it was simply time for him to put that kind of behavior behind him and play the way he played tonight.
And Chris, after a 4-game losing streak, even this morning at shoot-around, the players made no bones about it. They needed this win. They wanted to get this win for their psyche, and they did tonight.
Yeah, Kevin Love called it a must-win. You can definitely tell how they came out there with a sense of urgency out there to trying to, from start to finish. They let off the gas a little bit in that 3rd quarter, but for the most part, they got right back on track and put the Magic away. The Magic really didn't have a chance tonight. They were out of breath. The defense was stifling. The Cavs were getting into the passing lanes, disrupting their offense, getting them out of their comfort zone. So it was definitely probably one of their best all-around games from start to finish.
When you play a team like the Orlando Magic coming off the loss against Toronto, a lot of people are going to say, well, it was Orlando, and Orlando didn't have Tobias Harris, the 2nd leading scorer for the team, a guy who's in the middle of a career year. So I ask you, Chris, tonight's performance overall by the Cavs, was that more about the Cavs or was that more about the Magic?
I think it was more about the Cavs. You look at the way they handled them. It would have been one thing if they beat them by 2 or 4 points, but they took care of this team by, 32 points. So come on, I mean, they did what they had to do. They took care of the task that was presented ahead of them, and they went and took care of it and got them out the way, and that's what you want. Now they could go into that rematch game in Washington feeling good about themselves, didn't exert that much energy because they got the place, the minutes were low, so they did what they were asked to do.
That's a great point. It's a great point, Chris, because who would this team be to say, oh, it's only the Magic? I mean, they've lost at home to the Nuggets. They lost to Utah. They lost to the Knicks. And it's a cliche, but it's true. In this league, if you don't come with it, I mean, you can get beat. And so the way that they dismantled Orlando you can only be viewed as a positive. A small positive, but a positive.
And, Joe, I thought the 3rd quarter was a big step because in the past, when the Cavs have built big leads, teams have come back on them. And LeBron mentioned it the other night after the loss against Toronto. Our guys tend to shell up when a team starts to make a run.
Yeah.
Orlando started to make a run. They had an 8-2 run in the 3rd quarter. And then the Cavs were right there to answer. It never got below 12.
That's right. I mean, they answered with a 10-0 run, I believe, and it came with LeBron setting up Anderson Varejao a couple times. He scored a couple on his own. They defended. I mean, those are all things that didn't happen, as you said, on Saturday, and it triggered the very fragile comment. And tonight, stainless steel.
All right, Chris, talk about Anderson Varejao, because before the season, head coach David Blatt, he said, don't print this, don't say that I said this, but I'm going to continue to say it. He called Tristan Thompson and Anderson Varejao a 2-headed dragon. One of the heads of the dragon has been very, very good recently, Anderson Varejao.
For about a week, probably even longer than that. He's been the most consistent Cavalier. When you're talking about a guy who plays well in the pick-and-roll game, but also he's been hitting that outside jumper very consistently, and that's been a very nice support for the Cavs offense when they get bailed out, when they don't have anything to go. Anderson Varejao are always going to have that little 15, 20-footer because centers aren't going to step out there thinking he's going to shoot that. And so he's shooting with confidence and it's going in. That's just giving the Cavaliers an extra weapon. So him right now, he's definitely been the Cavs' best player, or I would say the most consistent player over the last week or so.
It's our Cavs postgame show here on cleveland.com. Chris Fedor, Joe Vardon, Chris Haynes. Cavs a winner tonight, 106-74 against the Orlando Magic. Washington is next. Washington comes here on Wednesday. Chris, what do the Cavs have to do to make sure that they play the way that they played tonight when they're going up against one of the best teams from the Eastern Conference?
Well, definitely, if they keep up that level of defensive tenacity that they had out there tonight, there's no reason why they can't do that against Washington, because it's all about effort. It's all about putting in the willpower to go out there and do that. And on the other end, the ball movement on the offensive end. That 4-game losing streak, I don't know what happened between when they were playing so well and when they decided just to do things differently during that 4-game span, because what I seen out there, I don't know why. You know, that's like Joe mentioned, that triggered the fragile, because he talks about how, you know, you start playing well and then you just get complacent and start reverting back to your old ways. I think that's what they saw. If they can do that against Washington, come back here, move that ball, have it in zipping from left to right, have the defense moving to side, putting them in a vulnerable position, then they'll be all right.
Joe, head coach David Blatt said the team was in the dark. Are they now into the light?
You know, you'll read about it tomorrow on cleveland.com. I've been spending my whole night writing about that. And no, they are out of the dark. They're not quite all the way there.
Hater.
And that's a good thing. That is, because just like Chris said, I mean, you know, when they won 4 in a row, I mean, after they just, you know, dispersed with the Hawks, they came out the next night against the Nuggets and thought, it's the Nuggets. And we saw what happened in the 4 games afterwards. So there were no backflips in there tonight afterwards, and that's a good thing.
Cavs a winner tonight. The 4-game losing streak is done. Now they can try and build on this 1-game winning streak, see if they can make it 2 in a row Wednesday night against the Washington Wizards. We'll be back here with you Wednesday for that game. In the meantime, cleveland.com/Cavs for all of your Cavs coverage into tonight and tomorrow. For Chris Haynes and Joe Vardon, I'm Chris Fedor. Good night, everybody.